Hi there, and welcome to this third tutorial of our Touching Typography series. In this tutorial we're going to have a closer look at this rotating staircase kind of animation, which you might have spotted within the portfolio of Dia Studios. We're going to use Blender and Touchdesigner, so make sure you've installed both to follow along. So without further ado, let's get started. So this is Blender, this is version 2.83. Going to edit mode, or edit menu first, preferences. A couple of settings I prefer to work with. Key map by menu enabled. Navigation, input, it's all fine. Navigation, zoom to mouse position, switch that on. Orbit around selection and auto perspective. In the themes, go to 3D viewport. I always find the vertex size, the default vertex size, a bit too small. So I set this a little bit higher. So if you go to edit mode by pressing tab, you see that these vertexes are slightly bigger. Going to switch on screencast keys so you can follow along. Okay. First thing, select camera, press X, delete. Same thing for the light. Okay. Select the cube, into edit mode. If you don't have by menu enabled, you can always switch to object and edit mode over here, but I believe that the tab itself is default toggling between object and edit mode, so you can go to different selection modes, vertex, edge and face. You can also press 1, 2 or 3 to switch between these three. So the third one, face select, press X, delete vertices. Okay. Select the plane, right mouse button, subdivide. This pop-up menu, give it 4 cuts. So we have 5 quads on the X and the Y axis. Going to vertex select mode. Going to give myself some reference when extruding the planes in the Z axis. Take this one, press E to extrude, press Z to isolate on the Z axis. I would like to extrude it 2 times the original plane. So 1 would be the half, 2 would be the entire one, so I have to press 4. Click. Okay. Subdivide this one as well. Select both vertices by holding Shift. Subdivide. Give this one 8 cuts, so double the amount of the cuts we did right here. So for this one, I'm only going to extrude it 1 entire plane. So isolate it around the Y, press 2, -2. Select them both, subdivide 4 times. Same here. Extrude, isolate by pressing X. 2, select both, subdivide 4 cuts. So now we have set up our reference. Going to face select mode again by pressing 3. Select them all. Let's see if this is working. No. Deselect, Alt A, face select. I'm going to select them by hand, so these can also use C. Makes the selection a little bit easier, but make sure you're not selecting the edges. Make sure you set the snapping mode over here to vertex. So if we press E to extrude, hold Ctrl, we're going to the first vertex over here, click, deselect these two, extrude, hold Ctrl to the first vertex, the second one. Extrude, hold Ctrl, click, Shift, deselect these faces, extrude, might be easier to extrude from this side. Extrude here, extrude, hold Ctrl, extrude, and click. So that's the top side. These faces, extrude, hold Ctrl. Let's see. Extrude around the Y. Oh, I've selected this one as well. Make sure your undo. I've selected this one, but only have to select these. Extrude, hold Ctrl, click, extrude, Ctrl, extrude, Ctrl. Okay. This one. Extrude, click, hold Shift, deselect. Extrude, click, extrude, click. Okay, so that's for the modeling part. We're now going to the UV unwrapping part. If you hover over here, you see a small plus sign. If you click and drag, you can split your window. Press this icon and go to the UV editor. We'll start with this side first. Select the face. You can select all the faces pointing at this direction. But you can also press Shift G. Select similar, normal. Now you've selected all the faces pointing at this side. On the numpad, or you can go over this gizmo over here and press the X. It switches to a different side. Y, X. Make sure you're in X. Press U to pop up the UV mapping menu. Select Project from View. Go over here, press A to select them all. Press G to move it. And make sure you position this unwrapped section in 2x2 grid. So it has to fit between these two lines. Just make it big enough so you can make use of much of the resolution as possible. Okay, so that's the first one. Select this one. Again, Shift G, select similar, normal. Switch the view over here. Press U, project from view. Press A to select them all, G to move it, scale it with S. Make sure it fits in the right top quad of the grid. Top section, select one face, Shift G, normal. Change the view, top view, press U, project from view, over here, press A, G to move it, click S, scale it, make sure you position it in the left corner of the 2x2 grid. You can hold Shift and make the movement a bit more precise. Hover over here and press A. You see that we've unwrapped all of them. If you hover over this section, press L. Alt A, deselect them all. Hover over this section, press L, G to move it. Just position it over here, we don't need it. So now we've unwrapped our model. Object mode. Go to File, Export, FBX. Find a spot on your disk where you can save it. Give it a name. Pyramid. Choose selected objects. Mesh. And hit export. So now we're going to TouchDesigner again and we'll continue our tutorial. Okay, we're in TouchDesigner. Close the palette. Delete the default template. Press play. Press H to home it. Going to our FBX. Look for it on your hard drive. Select it and drag it in. This is our model. Go inside. This one is called Mesh. Let's see. I use a select SOP to pick it out of there. Okay. Close that one. Okay. Okay. Close it with a null, Alt N. Hook it up to a geometry component. Geometry. Oh. Set up a render. Let's see, render, Alt Control, click to leave your dialog open. The camera, click, And that's basically it. Okay. If you geometry material, we use a constant, close it with a null, drag it over, select material. Okay. Let's go to our camera settings, view, set it to orthographic. Let's see, center, press W, go into wireframe mode. I'm not sure why this is -10, but make it 0. Seems like there's something in between, and that's probably this section. We need to switch this one off, this one as well. We only need to render out this one. See, split my window to geometry viewer. I would like to have this point upwards. Insert, transform. Rotate it around the X, -90. Okay, that's looking fine. We can already try put on a texture and see the effect happening. Use text, let's see. The mind. Multiply it, say 200 times. Word wrap. Make it a bit smaller. See the resolution. Now we can make it a little bit bigger. Just alter it to your own taste. I'll just leave it at this for now. Color. Font would like to be black. Background white. Okay. We have 3 sides, so copy it 2 times. Use a different text. The body. The soul. Okay. Close with null. Remember, we've unwrapped this model to a 2x2 quad layout. So we're going to use the same layout for the texture. Let's see, scale resolution on, grid rows. It's already there. You can make 2x2 just to make sure. If you're on a non-commercial, this would probably clamp to 12 80 by 1280, but that's not a big deal. Alt-N, go to a constant, drag this one in. And you see that it's already make the render window also square. Let's see, we have this spot over here, so I'm going to move the camera slightly closer. Let's see, view, auto width. Okay. To orbit around this object with the camera, there's this neat trick to make the pivot the minus from the transform. Minus me.par.ty minus me.par.tz. So no matter how you're rotating, the model is also always staying in the origin position towards the camera. So now we can test the effect. That direction, so 90 in the Y, minus 90 on the X. I'm going to rotate it on the Z slightly, but I'll show you in a minute. There's Alt-N, close it with a null, set an out here, up level, make the project square as well. Go over here, switch this one to panel. Okay. So this is the basic setup. And now we're going to animate the camera around the object. I think I'm going to alter the text slightly. Put a space behind here. Yes. Change the font size. Let's see the body. I think this one is offset, makes it a bit more interesting. I think I'm going to use a different font, Arial Black. I think it would also be nicer if we use capitals. Let's see, the body. I'm just going to alter it to my own taste. Let's see, this one is lined up. Okay. Minus 90. The sole, let's see, we've used 22.5, so 18.8, 0.8. Arial Black. There's one 18.8. all capitals, the sol. Area black, okay. This one is a different position than the other one. Let's see the mind. So I have to flip this. Insert, flip. Oh, flip. Top left, bottom left. Mirror it on the X. Yes. Okay. So let's start at 0 again. I'm going to use a table just to make sure I'm using the right positions. Let's see, we have, just going to pick the animation we've posted recently. Take a movie file in, search for the animation. I believe it was on my desktop. Yes. Open. So there are a couple of stages in this animation. First of all, there are all the sides, so that's 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and back. So we have 6 positions. Let's see. 6 positions. TX, TY, TZ. Make this one 7. TX, TY, TZ. Okay, so the first one would be rotated 0, 0, 0. It's the first one. Okay. The second side. Minus 90 on the X. Okay. So let's call this RX. RY, RZ, minus 90, 0, 0. Actually, we have to put this one row lower because there was another stage in between here. The last one. Let's see, to 0 again, rotate this on the Y. I think we want minus 90 and use the Z. Yes, the last side, so minus 90, 0, minus 90. So whatever happens over here, this empty one, has to get to these values. Pick a slider. So we have 6 stages for 3 rotations. We can use this slider. Let's see, display off. Use 3 moths. Okay, merge this one again. Okay. Oh, top. Okay. So the first stage, let's see, I think I'm going to split this one as well. It's big enough. So it starts at 0. It's going to the second stage. Third one is that one. So I make another slider. Copy this one. Use a moth for every rotation. Let's see. Don't think I'm going to merge this. I'm going to use 3 outs. For the X, the Y, and the Z. Let's give it a name. X or RX. Copy it. RY, RZ. Set all these moths to add. Okay. Yes. So as I'm moving through these different sliders, basically this next slider is going to correct the transformation of the last one. This one over here, this one over here. Okay. Okay, let's try something out. Just looking manually position I'm comfortable with, so let's see. Something like that. Minus 38, 35. Okay, make sure you're in the first slider. So the first one is going from 0, the X, from 0 to minus 38. And the Y plus 35. And the Z stays at 0. Okay. can already connect these. Close with a null. Alt N. Drag it over here. Okay. So now when we move this slider, you see that it's transforming to the position we've just settled. So that's for the first transition from the first stage to the second. And the next one has to come back to this. So just fill it in, minus 38 plus 35, 0. So the third slider has to compensate these values and transform it into minus 90, 0, 0. So let's see. To get this one to minus 90, you just have to subtract it with, let's see, a little bit of head math, 60, 50, 52, minus 52. Okay, inside range minus 52. The other one, just fill it in here. No, we don't need to fill it in here. Let's see. 35, it had to be 0. So math minus 35. Okay. So now if we change this one, you see it's slightly off. That's probably something, yes, the Z has to be 0. Okay. Okay. So the next one, empty again. Oh. Need a little bit more space. Copy this slider. Set this one to 0. Outputs connected. Okay. So let's see. I can also try to change it over here. P. Something like this. The Y. See how that looks. I think it looks okay for now. So the next one. Connect it again. So let's go to our table again. Fill this in here. Let's see which position it was. Minus 60, 39. 60. 39, 0. So we have to get back to minus 90 again. So we need this slider to subtract minus 30, so we'll end up with minus 90. So minus 30, this one's 39, has to be 0, so minus 39. And that's already 0, 0 to Z. Let's see. Made a slight mistake. Oh yeah, of course the Z had to be minus 90, so minus 90. Something's going wrong. Let's see. Going to close this, I want to give myself a little bit more room. Just follow the sequence again. This is the first stage, second. Okay, it's working fine, actually. Okay. The last empty one. Copy that one. Plug these 3 outputs in. Let's see. Maybe something like that. It's a bit too far. Let's see, just put it all the way up. Let's see where we are. Okay. There it is. Let's see how this looks. Maybe a bit too far. Let's see. Change a little bit. Maybe the X. See how that looks. Just go to the sequence again. Let's see if it's still fine for your own taste. And so now we have to go back to 0 again. So let's fill in the values we used over here. 51, 3, 67. So now we have to get back to 0 again, to add another row. 0, 0. So last slider, copy it. Plug in the outputs. So everything has to get back to 0. So plus 39 to compensate, minus 3 plus 23. $39 minus 3 plus 33. Test it, and we're back. So now we're going to animate these sliders. Let's see, close this one. We use an animation component for this animation. Let's see how long will the animation last. This is one to custom frames, probably around 300. Right mouse button, edit animation. We have 6 sliders to animate. So let's see, 1 bracket, 1, 2, 6. Add channels. Okay. Start with the first one. Starting at 0. Hold Alt and click. Click this handle again. Use a value of 1. Set this one to 1 as well, because it's staying there the whole animation. Press H to center it. Let's see. I think this one is looking okay for now. You can click it, hold Shift to drag it and isolate it on the X. If you click in between these two, select them both, you can switch the function. I personally like Bezier, so I have this handles where I can alter the ease in and ease out. Just play with it. I think this one will do the trick for now. Middle mouse button, you can hold it and zoom in now and out. Just like within a network, with the left mouse button you can just navigate to it. Right mouse button, drag. Right mouse button, copy selected keys. Going to the second one. Paste. Let's see where it's positioned. Over here. It's not. Pause it. Timeline for a moment. Let's see. Delete. Paste again. Yep, there it is. Paste it at the timeline, so it's a good habit to pause the timeline when you're pasting inside here. Hold Shift to select them both. Let's see. Start it somewhere around here. I can already hook this one up to the slider. Let's go inside. Use a select, chop. A null here. Let's see, null 11, first channel. So upper level, null 11, first channel. Let's see, 1, okay. Connect it to the mouth instead of this one. So if we, yes, now it's moving. Okay. Copy it. Paste it. Second one. Okay, so that's working fine. Okay, we've selected these two. Copy selected keys, going to the third. Paste at current time. So where did it paste it? Over here. Let's see. Again. Copy. Paste. Yes. This one has to be 1 as well. Press H. Let's see the third one. Select it first. Shift and drag. Okay. Come to the fourth. Paste. This one has to be a 1. Select them. Shift and drag somewhere around here. Let's check. Select them again. Like this. Let's go to the 5th. Paste. 1. Select, shift, drag. Okay. Last one. Paste. 1. Shift select all channels. Okay, so now if you press play, you see that all these sliders are basically operating in a loop. So now I'm going to connect them again. Borrow one from one slider. See, close the active view, paste, And as we're going through the different sliders, you see the animation changing. Forgot to connect it to the right channel, but I'm gonna paste it in first. Okay, this one has to be the third one. Fourth. Oh. The fifth. And the sixth. So let's see. I think it's taking shape already. Let's close this one for now. Make it a little bit smaller. So this is it basically. You can put in any value in between these stages. So this one, front view, top view, side view. Just make sure you're always getting back to these stages, and what you're doing in between is up to you. Just make sure that you're always filling the entire object in this canvas, so you can play with these values to your own taste, but it's a little bit of try and error. You just have to make sure that it fills in correctly and you're not getting black spots around the corners. Let's see, to the animation editor again. And this is more or less matter of taste. Start the stages at different positions, or adjust the ease in and ease out of these handles to your own taste. So that's basically it. Hopefully you've liked this tutorial. It's the third one of our Touching Typography series. If you have any suggestions for touching an animation you've spotted somewhere, you can always email us. We might pick it up. In the meantime, have a look at our Patreon. Get updated regularly with developed tools, insights, 3D models, etc. Please like and subscribe, stay up to date, stay safe, and we'll catch up next time.